Good morning, children. Children, welcome to today's session of chemistry. And today we will be studying a very important chapter called elements, compounds, and mixtures. Yeah, this one. Right. So let us have a basic knowledge because everything around us is an element or a compound or a mixture if it's inorganic in nature. Means if it's not having life. Right. If it is having life, it might have something else in it. But basically, everything, whether it be life or not life, most of the things consist of these three things: elements, compounds, and mixtures. So it's quite appropriate that let's have a clear cut understanding of it. Now, what is matter? Now, anything that occupies space and has mass is called matter. Right? Anything that occupies a space means it should have a volume and has a mass means we can weigh it is called matter, like air and water, sugar and sand, silver, steel, milk, oil, kerosene and petrol, carbon dioxide, steam. There's so many examples of matter can be of any type. It can be solid, can be liquid, can be gas. Now very recently two more states of matter has been discovered. Right. On the basis of their chemical properties, matter around us is distributed into two types: pure and mixtures. Pure substances are further classified into two groups. Right. And these two groups are elements and compounds. Mixtures can be classified into homogeneous and heterogeneous. Okay, so this is the broad classification chart as far as elements, compounds, and mixtures are concerned. You need to learn this right very thoroughly. Now, what is a pure substance? Pure substance is one which is made up of only one kind of particle. You need to remember this, right? That the bottom line is only one kind of particle, right? O2. If I say, for example, O2, that is two atoms of oxygen. Is there anything else in it? There is only oxygen, right? Now, water, salt, sugar, H2O, water, wherever you go and find water, it will contain H2O. A pure substance has same composition throughout its mass. Wherever you weigh it, if suppose you are having 1 kg of water, 1 liter of water, then every drop of it will be having H2O. Right, it cannot be separated into any other kinds of material matter by physical means. Pure substance is a fixed composition as well as fixed melting point. Now we come to the second most important part, which is element. An element is a substance which cannot be separated into two or more similar substances by a chemical method, right? We cannot separate it by a chemical into two or more substances by any chemical methods, right? Suppose sodium is there. Yeah, sodium. So what will you separate it into two parts? It is only sodium. You cannot separate it, right? Because it is made up of only one kind of atom. It does not contain any other kind of atom. Like copper, right? What will you separate in that? It is having only copper. There are 118 elements known at present, out of which 94 elements occur in nature, while the remaining 24 elements have been prepared artificially. Right? Artificially, basically, let me tell you, radioactively. Right? Actively. You will study this in later classes, how these elements were prepared. Right? Up till then, only just know this thing. Artificially here refers to radioactivity. Right, every substance in this world is made up of one of these elements can be solid, liquids, gases. All elements are divided into three groups: metal, non-metals and metalloids. Right. Now what is a metal? Iron, copper, aluminum, zinc, these are all examples of metal properties. Metals are malleable. That means it can be beaten into thin sheets. Right, we all have seen that sheet of silver which is used over sweets, or even gold also sometimes. right? A very tiny particle of silver is taken and that is beaten into that that sheet. Okay. Next, aluminium foil also. Yeah, good example is aluminium foil, which is used to wrapping up food material. Metals are ductile, that is, they can be drawn into wire. Copper wires are very famous. Metals are good conductors of heat and electricity, right? That means that metal allow heat and electricity to pass through them. Metals are lustrous. Lustrous means they have a shine. Metals are generally hard in, right? Except sodium and potassium, which are soft. Rest of the metals are very hard. Metals are solid at room temperature and they are sonorous. Sonorous refers to sound. The non-metals, carbon, sulfur, phosphorus, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, fluorine, chlorine. These are some of the examples. Now, non-metals, they are not malleable or ductile. If you will beat them, they will break. Non-metals are not ductile. You cannot draw them into wires. They are bad conductor of heat and electricity. Non-metals are not lustrous. They do not shine. Example, coal, which is carbon. It never shines. Graphite, the lid of your pencil, it does not shine. Non-metals are generally soft, except diamond, which is the hardest substance known. Non-metal may be solid, liquid, or gas. They also exist in three forms. Non-metals have comparatively low melting point and boiling point. Right? They have low melting point and they are not sonorous. Well, wherever you hit any coal, it does not produce sound. Wherever you hit any non-metal, right, it will never produce any sound. Now, what are metalloids? They are those which have some properties of metal and some they show some property of metal and some properties of non-metal like boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic, etc. Right. Now there is something very important for us and some very thoughtful point that arsenic is the most poisonous element. Now let us come to the symbol part. Now it was Lavoisier introduced the system of nomenclature, but it was John Dalton who devised pictorial representation of elements. Okay. Now, Baron John Jacob Berzelius suggested a simple system of representing metals with elements. Now, what was that? For most of the elements, the first letter of their English name was regarded as the symbol. Carbon C, nitrogen N, oxygen O. Right. In cases where the first letter is already adopted, then sometimes along second letter was also added, like calcium. See here, calcium. Just a minute. Okay. See, calcium Ca. So these are the first two letters. Barium Ba, chlorine Cl, etc. Right. So another letter from the name is also joined to the first letter. Right. The symbol for some are derived from their Latin names. Like sodium is natrium. That is the Latin name of sodium. So the Na is the symbol used. The Latin name of gold is aurum. So Au is used. Symbol for elements are based on various. So this is a list of symbols which you need to learn by heart. Okay. Next we come to see this is another list on the base of Latin name sodium, potassium, Na, K, F, iron is ferrium, Fe, right? So these are all the lists given which you need to learn. Now let us come to atomicity. The molecule of an element contains atoms of the same element. The number of atoms present in the molecule of an element is called the atomicity. Right? Now molecules containing same atom are called monoatomic and their atomicity is so only one atom is called monoatomic and their atomicity is 1. For example, helium, right? It does not combines two atoms. because it's an inert element. So it's He only, and it's a monoatomic. Now, which having two atoms of the same element are called diatomic, like oxygen, hydrogen, chlorine. They are all diatomic. Right? Triatomic, they contain three atoms, like ozone. It contains three atoms of oxygen, and polyatomic are more than three. Now, this is a list of atomicity: sulfur 8, phosphorus 4. Right. So here there are few things which we will be studying also. Right. So we know up till now that atomicity is which totally depends upon the number of atoms in that element. Okay, it depends upon the number of atoms. Now we come to compounds. Compound is a substance made up of two or more elements chemically combined in fixed proportion. For example, H2O. Right, here we combine two or more elements in a fixed ratio. Fixed ratio, why I say so? Simply because wherever you go, whatever you do, water will always be H2O. Right, two elements of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. Okay, now next is valency. Chemical formula: valency is the combining capacity of atoms of an element. It represents the capacity of an atom to react and combine with particular number of atoms of another elements. Okay, it's a combining capacity. Valency of carbon is 4, so it can combine with 4 atoms of same element or 4 atoms of different elements. Now, if the valency is 1, it is called monovalent, then divalent 2, trivalent 3. Monovalent elements: hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium; divalent: calcium, zinc, oxygen; trivalent: boron, aluminum; tetravalent: carbon and silicon. There are certain elements which have a zero valency. They are all called inert gases. Now, how to derive the formula of a compound? It is done by cross multiplying these valencies. Right, we cross multiply them. Firstly, we write their symbols and see the valencies cross multiplied to get the formula. Okay, so we have learnt a lot of things. Right, we have learnt a lot of things. We have seen what is an element, what is a compound, what is a mixture. Then mixture we have not studied. We are into compounds. We have studied the valency part, which is very very important. Right, which is superbly important for us to study. Now it's time to move ahead towards mixtures. Right, before that we have also studied how to establish a formula by cross multiplying the valencies. Right, and see here there is a list here given, and you can very well see that by cross multiplying them. Now we come to mixture. Is a substance which uh, so is a substance which consists of two or more elements. So let me stop here. Right, and I'll be continuing mixture in my next session. Okay, thank you very much. Have a great day.